village election matters, and we have several resolutions and thoughts that we need to discuss. We'll go through the treasurer's report. We have a resolution for modifications. We're going to be reviewing and approving several of the bills that have come into the office in the interim since the last board meeting. We're going to be discussing the renovation project at the firehouse, and then we're probably going to have, I believe, 1 or 2 items for executive session. So I believe everyone should have had a chance either to print out or review the agenda, which Pat had sent out, I think not only today, but last week on this. So the first item is the village election. Pat, I'm going to turn the floor over to you to take us down the 4 bullet points under village election.
Okay, we need a resolution to post and publish the polling place and hours the polls will be open, which is June 16th, 12 to 9 at Village Hall.
All right, so we'll look for a motion naming the polling place being the Nissequogue Village Hall on June 16th, 12 noon to 9 p.m. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, please.
Aye.
Good, okay.
Okay, second resolution is to appoint election inspectors, Marguerite McDonough, Susan McGarrigle, Olivia Winkler, Michaela Winkler.
We'll need a motion for those 4, please, and then a second.
Make the motion.
Maureen, second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, next one, appoint alternate election inspectors, Jordan Christofides, Cynthia Toledo, and Ian Winkler.
I'll make that motion. May I have a second on it,
I'll
please?
second it. It's Michael.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we were just mentioning about the old absentee ballots. The governor has released some of the restrictions, so they're open to anyone who does not want to come into Village Hall to vote. So we've ordered 250. Laura was kind enough to order them. So we're ready when, once we have a ballot, we will send them out. And the last item, Rich and I had a brief conversation today. We need to come up with some safety measures for our election, such as one-way traffic, and if we need any kind of
Yeah, so
glass
what I
partition.
had, right. I had been thinking of in discussion with Pat and with Laura Winkler, the folks who will be sitting at the registration table, there are plexiglass panels that are made with a cutout, much like what you're going to be seeing up at the banks and the supermarkets, so all same material. We're going to get 3 of those for the conference table. We'll have 2 people sitting at the conference table working the registration books. Again, I do not anticipate that we're going to have heavy foot traffic, but these are volunteers. We're going to try to keep them protected. So there's a cost of maybe $500, I think, for those. And then I want to make sure that we just keep everyone as safe as we can, whoever comes in. I'd like people to come in only through the front door, go up, sign the book, fill out their ballot, put it in the ballot box, and then leave by way of the back door. We're going to have tape laid out indicating this, as well as proper and safe spacing if we have a lineup. In other words, if people are in line waiting to sign up. So that's the thinking on that. Any other thoughts and discussions from anyone?
The election inspectors or the workers should be masked.
They will be. Good idea, though, just to make absolutely sure. Gloved.
And how many people can be in the building? In other words, how many voters can be in the building? Are we going to just have spacing so they have to be 6 feet apart?
I'm thinking maybe 3. We're going to have someone monitoring traffic at the front door. Person at the table, another person 6 or 8 feet behind, another person at the door waiting to step in line. But it'll be one-way traffic. The only people allowed to come in the back, obviously, would be a handicapped voter. Envision that we would only have 3 folks being able to line with the proper setbacks. But as far as the folks working the table, Jim, absolutely masked and gloved.
What about requiring voters to mask?
Yeah.
All right,
If New York State still qualifies it, we'll know. New York State will keep that
Yeah.
condition and they have to do it. If they don't, I don't know how you're gonna make people mask. You can request it,
Yep,
but I mean,
that-
that happen.
give them an absentee.
I still think there'll be social distancing by then, and that's gonna, I'd be surprised if they remove the, at least recommendation to mask
Oh, I agree.
until there's a vaccine. I really think so.
Does that mean that we would have extra masks to give to people?
I think we should get a box. I know Spages is selling some up on the counter, but perhaps we should have some extra. Pat or Laura, do we have any extras in the village hall?
No,
All right, we'll need to lay in a supply.
Can we get them through the fire department?
No, this is a village election. The fire department, let's not dig into any of those. Listen, that's not a good, I would not approve that source at this moment. No.
I did receive a call recently from a village resident who had the access to masks, so maybe I could reach out and see if we could get some.
All right. That's
I
fine.
mean, I can get some. Depends on how many we need. So you think there'll be 70 people, maybe? So
No, for a village election, this time
10
I'd
10
be,
minutes.
I'd be shocked if we get 70, Jim. We'll have a lot of absentee, but I don't know, maybe 24, Pat, maybe something like that. I think most people have masks on, quite honestly.
Most people will have them. They'll have it by then. I mean, for sure, people will be able to mask.
And a month and a half from now, more people will be used to doing that.
Okay, good. So that's the thinking on that. Pat, let's get to item number 2, the treasurer's report.
Okay, I just printed financials just as an FYI at this point in time. And I have some budget modifications on the very last page of the second item.
I'm sorry, what were those budget modifications?
There was a list that I sent out by email. It's a net of 0. And there's probably a dozen and a half modifications, movement.
Jimmy, I have to apologize. I have not seen them. Before getting on the call, I went through all my text and email again. I'm going to ask you to take the lead on moving this forward for approval, please.
Okay, I will, but I don't have them either. I mean, I looked at all the emails and that was not in my
Want me to
email
read
list.
them or can I show
Yeah,
them?
that would be great.
Yeah.
I think you should read them. Sure.
Yeah, read them?
Just
Okay,
read them, Ken.
Zoning fees, increase of $275, interest and earnings, increase of $550, sale of equipment, increase of $800. Village Justice Court, COVID-19, increase of $400. Clerk DJJ Technologies, increase of $300. Clerk Contracted Services website, increase of $300. Clerk Contracted Services, COVID-19, increase of $2,000. Again, those should be reimbursed, those COVID items. Engineer, increased contracted services, a reduction of $500. Engineer non-retainer, increased $500. Building supplies, police, increased $300. Police motor vehicle, increased $9,200. Police operations, COVID-19, increased $1,000. Police vehicle maintenance, increased $1,500. Fire department building improvements, increased $1,000. Ambulance equipment, reduction $1,500. Communications equipment, reduction $6,600. Vehicle repairs and maintenance, decreased $10,000 to $11,000. Emergency tools and repairs, increased $400. CPR training, increased $250. Dues and subscriptions, increased $161. Fire department building repair and maintenance, increased $14,000. Fire department COVID-19, increased $1,000. Fire Department District Officers Meeting, increase $600. Fire Department Travel, reduction $3,000. Safety Inspector, Personal Service Part-Time, increase $400. Safety Inspector Miscellaneous, reduction $400. Maintenance of road vehicle repair, maintenance and repairs, increase $500. Snow removal, contracted services, reduction $4,000. And contingent account reduction $6,000 for a net of zero.
Okay, so those are the budget modifications recommended by the village treasurer. Net effect, zero, of course, on the budget. So barring any questions, I'll look for a motion to approve with a second, please.
I'll move to approve.
Make the motion. I'll second then, Jim.
Second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last item for treasurer's report, we were approved for the PSC&G rebate program. $1855.87 Village Hall and $240 for the outside lighting. That will be replacing our current lighting with LED. And the payback was extremely short. And once we spend the money, we get the money back from PSC&G as a rebate.
Good.
Okay.
That's a great idea, Pat. Good. Pat, just one last question. Looking back on one of the first bullet point under the treasurer's report was the balance sheet and revenue expense report. Did you have
Yes.
anything specific that you wanted to report
No,
on?
I just included it for information purposes only.
Okay,
I left a hard copy in your box, Rich, next time you're in
Yeah.
Village.
Yep. Good, thank you. Okay, item number 3, that our agenda is the review and approval of the abstracts 2306 through 2804, in sum totaling $20,728.64. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to review those. I've reviewed those this afternoon. I'm fine with those. May have a motion, unless there's any questions, a motion and a second to pay on those.
Motion, Maureen.
Second, please.
I'll
Second.
second, Michael.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
We also have a request for a resolution to pay $400 for the renewal of our .gov renewal. Who is that to, Pat? I forgot.
That is
to-
our network administrator, George Genetakis. He did me a favor of renewing this, and he's been very helpful during this pandemic. So I'd like to just pay him so he doesn't have to wait till the end of May to get payment.
Okay, very fine. Okay, take that motion that we pay that renewal.
Second.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in
Jim.
favor?
Second, Jim.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item number 4, Nissequogue Fire Department renovation project. Over the last several days, I think I have circulated to everyone, most recently, I think today, the schematic or the sketch, the work that RJ K Gardens is proposing on the south side with the 2 stone walls, the top one being extended by 20 feet and about 18 inches in height. Did everyone get this first off?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Along with
Yeah, we all
a
did.
photo of current situation. And I think I sent a copy again of the proposal for $9,600. We have 2 other proposals, Fasco Paving, and there's another one. Those 2 came in at $23,500, and I think the second one was $25,350 or thereabouts. I worked with Richie Curry, the former owner of RJK, on this. He's been down throughout the week working on this. He likes the boulders. He does feel that the top one really needs to be added or buttressed. It needs to go up not only higher, but it needs to go to extend to the south 20 feet. He's going to make a lot of use of gravel and mulch that huge pile of sand, of dirt that we have there. I think you've all driven down and taken a look at that. He's going to be using that for the backfill. He's going to be putting more fabric in. You'll see on the schematic, he's taking that masonry wall. He's taking it in line up to almost to the concrete pad and then back and tying it into the first level stone wall. So Rich has got a lot of experience in this, as RJK does. He's spent, I guess a week ago Saturday, I met him for the first time there, and he's been back 3 or 4 times studying it, figuring out what is going to be the best way to control, not only to control the water coming off that hillside, but to maintain the stability of the hillside so we don't lose it and so we do not impact the neighbor behind us. So I open it up, the floor up.
See, I like the number.
I'm not caring about the numbers so much. I agree with you, Jim, but we need to resolve this problem once and for all. This problem, not only is it visually an eyesore, it was left unfinished in my estimation. I think this contractor did a horrible job. He didn't clean up, he didn't finish up. All that's going to be done by RJK. It's going to look professionally done, as their work is, and it's going to be stable. So.
And what about the north side? What's going on with the north side?
Let's stick on this first, please.
Okay. It seems like a well-detailed and thought-out plan. They seem to have done their due diligence on it. He's done good work for us before, and the numbers looks good.
He has. He's done this kind of work for clients for the last 35, 40 years that he had a, he's owned RJK for about 40 years, having bought it from his father. So that's the thinking to award this to them. We've got the 3 bids. Every time we have a rain, man, I'm just dying. I'm absolutely dying. That I have nothing ever to say about JR Solutions, the contractor. Left it. The simple fact that he left this thing in such a mess. Without cleaning it up, that huge pile of spoil and everything. Michael, you're the commissioner. What do you have to say? Did we drop Michael?
There he is.
I'm back. I lost connection totally.
Michael, you're with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you now.
Good. Michael, I'm turning to you as commissioner now. What's your thinking on RJK's proposal? You should have a copy of the schematic, copy of the current photo, and the copy of the estimate of the proposal.
Yeah, I do. I hope he can back this up. I mean, it looks like he's relying a lot on gravel and a lot on landscaping to contain the water. I gather he's going to
that, but the boulders, he's putting in a tremendous number of boulders on that top wall. He believes that top wall has to be 18 inches higher, and it's got to extend another 20 feet to the south.
All right, I understand that, but the other proposals didn't have boulders. They had material that was stackable, which there now. They had the interlocking block, and it was multiple levels. I gather that would 10. I guess you'll use materials there plus boulders from the other side that were rescued. My question is, and I don't mean to throw a stone in here, you know where I'm going to go with this next. Do we have to conform with prevailing wage on this or not? I mean, is that an issue or not? I don't get trapped into this again.
I don't know. I really just want to get this done. This is an emergency nature. I would have to think that they are keeping on 3 years. I think we put out a contract for the landscaping. Do you remember? The year we get every time we get RJK bidding on it all. So this is a critical nature. We need to get this done. If we wait on this for half a year, we're going to lose that hillside. I'm just telling you, it's a bad situation.
No one's questioning that. I mean, I know that this is what I do every day now. I'm just want to make sure that this money is going to guarantee she has to work when I have a business and I know it's quality work. This is the solution. I mean, the other we did put some plastic in that were sheets, but again, they were pretty solid things and it stopped it where the mafia block is, but it went around it. I just hope that this will contain it, and if he's willing to guarantee it, well, that's the rest of the decision.
They have always been he's been very honorable. I've known Richie for 60 years. His firm's very honorable. They're local. They are the contractor of choice for Nissequogue and all the work that we do, the weekly maintenance and such. I'd rather have them take this on, quite honestly, Mike.
Well, feel comfortable with it then, that decision.
All right.
George,
I'm sorry, say again.
George,
I just have a quick question. What I'm trying to figure out is, since we didn't get to see the plans, is we're gonna have the mafia block on the one side and boulders on the other? We're gonna have two different sets of stone on each side of the building?
Yes, what you have right now.
Okay.
What he's gonna do, George, is gonna continue with the
However,
stackable block.
George, however, it will be professionally landscaped. There'll be mulch put down. It will be very attractive. Right now, that place looks like the Smithtown dump. It's with broken pallets, broken masonry blocks, piles. But yes, to answer your question, yes.
Okay.
All
Richard,
right,
I think you're
Maureen,
breaking up, Richard, a little bit.
say again.
You're breaking up for me. I'm getting every
All
other
right.
word.
Let me speak a little closer to the phone, maybe. Maureen, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
My thought is that with your experience with RJK, your years of experience, and the need to move forward on this, I would be in favor of accepting, and the price is very good. I would accept his proposal. But
Thank
then
you.
again, but let me qualify that by telling you about my vast experience with retaining walls. It's not there, but it looks good to me.
Okay. All right, I'm going to call Richie and
Could I ask a quick question? It's Chief Knott.
I'm sorry. Yes, you can. And is Russ on also?
I don't see Russ on.
Yes,
Yeah, Russ is on.
On now?
Yep, he's there.
All right, so we got George, we got Chris Knott, and Chief on Frank also?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, you have the floor. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, the original work was to take care of the water, and we still have a lot of water coming from those areas. Putting the rocks up is going to help retain the mud and all, but it's still not taking care of the water flow, right? And isn't the water flow our big issue right now?
Well, it is, but it's also holding on that wall. He is going to deal with some of the drainage as well with the gravel. Keep that in mind, that he's got a lot of backfill. You haven't seen his proposal, and I apologize, but he understands what the issue is. It's twofold: controlling the water coming off that hillside and stabilizing that hillside so we don't lose it.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. On that side of the building, the water is coming in through the wall. Now, if they don't dig out the dirt and the rock that's there and put some sort of barrier to prevent the water from coming into the building, you can put up the greatest retaining wall in the world. If the water doesn't stop flowing, it's going to continue to come right through the building.
This is a source of extreme aggravation for me. I have asked Joe Arrico, and whether he's on this call or not, I'm going to call him out. I have asked him on 3 separate occasions to meet with Chief Von Frank at the firehouse to examine that very situation where the water's bleeding in through the concrete wall into the gear room. All right. He was to come back to me. As far as I know, he's never had that meeting. I'm extremely disappointed in Joe. Michael, you have my permission to share that tomorrow morning with him. I'm really annoyed at him right now. However, George, let me say this. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I'll throw this back to you. Is it a possibility that we can apply sealant from the interior of that room?
As I'm sorry, George,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Chris. No, go ahead, Chris. You're the engineer. You tell him.
No, I was just gonna say, as an engineer, you really don't want to be putting it on the side where it's coming in. You want to be putting it in the other area, and really what you want to do is avoid it. What is our universal solvent? It just finds its way
Well,
through everything.
Joe Rico's on the call here. Joe's on. What do you say, Joe?
Joe, Joe, are you
Yeah.
on?
So you asked me to meet Fred Cam, which I did.
Did you meet with the chief?
No, you asked me last week to meet with the chief. Prior to that, you asked me to meet with the builder. So I did. And we
What
talked.
is- What
ahead.
is the solution? Hang on, I've got to charge this goddamn thing. What in your professional estimation is the solution to stop this bleeding of water and mud coming into that gear room?
All right, first, first of all, the chiefs need to know which is it coming in by the pipe element or is it coming into the back wall?
So Michael, you and I spoke the other day. We're going to meet
Yes.
out there with Fred on Saturday, and Chief Von Frank can be there. I also called the architect to come out and look at it, and I told Fred he had to fix it. So that was 2 weeks ago that I spoke to you, Mayor, about having Fred Cam come out. This week, you sent me an email to meet out with Von Frank, the chief out there. I called Fred, and just to recap, I know you don't like Fred Cam, but his contract was not for site work. When Desmond did the contract with him, it was only for the building and a partial final grade in the back. So I asked.
I don't know who you're referring to, Joe. Who?
I'm referring to Fred Can in reference to the final grade in the back. So
Is that RJ Solutions?
that's
Yes.
General Solution. So
Okay.
I met with him 2 weeks ago, like you asked, and then the only one I haven't met with is the chief. And I asked Cataldo to come out to meet with us with Fred Saturday to go over it. And he said he'd fix it.
Joe, here's the basic question.
Yeah.
How can we have a brand new extension with a concrete wall
Mhm.
that's leaking water? How can this builder call himself a professional to allow that to happen without properly and professionally sealing this from the exterior?
He used the material that was supplied by Desmond. Desmond changed the final outside of the waterproofing to what he wanted, and then Fred put it in. That corner is where the seal is. Once he strips that down and he puts the armor coat on there, which is what he needs to put on there, it'll be repaired. So
Joe, are you saying that the builder or JR Solutions is coming back to excavate right at that corner and clean this up?
yes.
And when do you think that he'll be doing that?
So he asked me if he was able to work, and I told him it was an essential capital project and he'd be able to work out there and take care of it. So he's coming out Saturday.
And do you know when on Saturday?
I probably have him out there around 9 o'clock.
I'll come in. Excellent.
Yeah,
And
come
his-
and see him. He's really a good guy. He's not a bad person.
This has been going on, as George and Chris and Russ have been telling us. This has been going on for 3 months now, better part of 3 months. And I got behind there with you. You saw how that joint was open. It wasn't properly sealed.
That's right.
That whole, I'll call it the southeast corner, that whole southeast corner of that wall has got to be really, really well sealed.
We'll be out there with Steve on.
We also look at the possibility that the now start building their flush and there's water probably still coming from that. It hasn't been corrected. It still was never corrected 100% because of the water. It never had a chance to sit and dry and put it in. So we do have to look at that, where the pipe goes through the wall, the waste line, where it goes at the side of the building needs to be checked as well. Now, that's not Fred's issue. That was our issue because Desmond blew a hole out to the side of the building. Am I
Not
right,
leaking
chiefs?
there. Guys,
That's not leaking now?
no, that's not where the water's not leaking in there. It's leaking much further up the wall and then draining backwards through that. And a lot of it is still coming in underneath the door that's there because it's above the grade of the door sill.
So we have a grader there, so we have water coming where the tank or the wires were at on, so we have a corner. All right, well, Saturday we'll meet right out there 9 too.
All
They
right,
can dig it all
Michael,
out and then flash it.
Michael Grosskopf, you'll be there Saturday. Are you able to make it, Mike?
Yeah, I'll be there. There's no issue. I
Thank
get
you,
up early
Joe.
now, so.
Joe, thank you for setting that up. This is all
Okay.
good. Let's see if we can get that. Now, Russ, I know you had expressed in a recent email concern and a few moments ago, the north end of the house. Evidently, there's some gap that you're referring to, that the water and mud's coming through.
Yes, there is. In fact, I went down there today. I took pictures, which I forwarded to Commissioner Grosskopf. The Mafia block was never tied into the retaining wall that was there. There's a piece of 2x6, which is stuck in the ground just to kind of hold the mud from flowing through, but the
All right,
water
so
and-
the mud's not coming from behind the house. It's coming off the lawn where the textured stone block wall sort of meets up with the Mafia return. Is that correct?
Well, it doesn't really meet up with it. There's a
Well, that's
there's an 8-inch
but I'm
gap.
saying, Russ, I'm saying it's that joint where the water's coming through, correct?
Part of it. The other is still coming down around the hillside and washing right down over the top of the retaining wall.
All
That is
right.
correct. Where the propane tank is, much further away from the building, the water's now been re-diverted and is coming over like a waterfall.
All right. I know Stephen Demas was going to look at getting caps put on top of those Mafia blocks there for that purpose. I'll be speaking to him on Saturday as well. We'll see how much on that. It looks like we're going to be busy Saturday. So just to recap, we're going to meet about 9 o'clock down at the firehouse at a safe distance, everyone gloved up, masked up. And Joe Arico, this gentleman's name is Lou.
The JR Solutions,
Yes.
Fred.
Fred can. My only other question, Rich, are you still there? Rich, are you there?
I'm right here.
I keep going out. How far that back hill is RJ gonna go? They're gonna go, or is Richie gonna go? Is he gonna go behind the firehouse? We do have to mat and put grass up there or hydro seed, something to keep that from coming down. That
I-
problem.
That's going to be another. We can talk to Rich about that. This is not including the hydro.
I mean,
this
because
is
as Joe will tell you, we've done projects on a hill like that where you put jute mat down and then you spray it with a hydro seal, and that will hopefully try to hold it until plants start to take place up there.
correct,
I mean,
and that's
why
what
coming over the top of the hill, there's nothing
That's
holding
what I
material
wanna get
together
done,
any
but-
longer.
I agree. And we
Joe,
need-
my director, chime in the jute mat system?
hang on, we're going to that hill. They'll look to have the hydro seeding sprayed on the back. Okay.
Am I right? Joe, so
So-
work?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Which we can hear you going in and out. You're going in and out. All system of jute mat that we use on deep hills, it's adding bad jute material and then might be on top of it. That may solve our issue.
If I may speak, I just have one more question.
Go ahead,
The-
George.
The area by the door, by the ambulance side, was supposed to have been paved now since March. Is that area going to get paved?
Yes, when they open, George, but there's nothing that we're going to do now. That's been the intent all along. You're talking about that big 10 by 10 or 8 by 8 area. That's all.
Yeah, we need to just push the water away with just to
Correct.
pitch the asphalt.
I agree, but when we're able to, when we can get a hot box down there, we're going from the town of Smithtown Highway Department, we're going to have that paved.
Okay.
So listen, Mayor, I just want to clarify something, right? Sunday night, you emailed me to set up a meeting with Russ. Sunday, today's Tuesday. Monday, I called JR Solutions. Today, he called me back. Today, I spoke to Michael Grosskopf to see if he could come. And then I was going to call Russ to see if he could make it. So just to clarify, I didn't wait 2 weeks. You only emailed me Sunday night. I want you to be aware of that. I know you've been,
Hang on,
email me.
I publicly apologize for castigating your good character show in,
Okay.
in great era. I
No
remain,
problem.
hang on, I remain a great fan of yours. Now drop it, please.
I will, but I have to clarify it. Now I'll drop it.
Oh my God almighty. All right, 1,000 apologies.
Peace, peace.
I'm good.
That's, did Kurt Meyer ever join us?
I'm here. I found you.
I'm
I
sorry?
found you. I found you. I came from the chicken coop and I found you.
How long have you been on, Kurt?
Long enough to hear all this back and forth on the hillside stuff. So,
Okay.
and
good.
that you're looking to go down there on Saturday morning and
Yeah. Are you all right? I know you've gotten a copy of RJK's schematic and.
yeah, the schematic I didn't. I got the copy of the quote basically, or the preliminary quote basically.
I sent to all the trustees today and to Pat a copy of the schematic, a photo, and the proposal. I sent.
Okay, I haven't looked. I haven't looked at. I just got, like I said, I got in from outside, so
All right.
I've been trying to kill the virus with sunlight. You know.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we have a couple items that we've got to go over in executive session, and we'll do so unless there's anything that anyone needs to bring up at this moment. Otherwise, a lot of you.
I thought I was wondering when Pat said that the COVID expenses might get reimbursed. Who's going to reimburse us for the COVID expenses?
We're working on a FEMA grant with Jen Messiano.
The federal government.
Yes. I think Russ has a question.
Question. A question for you. Once the contract's awarded, what's the timeline for having that work done? Because we still have to connect the propane to the generator, and I know the generator has to be moved in order to get that work done. Does his bid spec include moving the generator?
It does not.
Okay, so we'll have to get somebody else then to move the generator so he can do the work and then get the propane hooked up because we're still without the generator.
Well, if they're going to have bucket loaders and skid steers loaders, so if we need to have the generator moved, Chief, why don't we ask them to move it?
As long as they can do it safely, it's fine by me. It still has to be disconnected.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
I'm good.
Thank you all. Now I'll ask for a motion to leave the regular work session, go into executive session to take on a couple matters of village election law and personnel matters, please. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion.
That's fine.
Second the motion, Jim.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Mayor, do you need us anymore for this?
No, thanks. We're all set, boss. Thank you. Thank you for all the fire department guys. Great job. Keep up all the good work, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Aye.
Okay, Pat, we're in executive session. You had a couple things I think you wanted.
Mr. Mayor, you need to switch into executive session. Gentlemen, you have to switch into the executive session. You have to acknowledge it on the screen.
Okay. Right, we're back now.
I move to
We're
adjourn the regular session.
Who made the second on Jim's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kurt. Have a good night, all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, you too.
All right, good night,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you,
Good
gentlemen.
night.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.